This is the Normal Nerds Podcast, where two very normal dudes talk about very nerdy stuff and whatever else we feel like talking about. I'm your host, Maxwell Cerecio.
And I'm your host, who will forever think Nynaeve is one of the worst characters ever, Davis Bates.
This episode, we're going to be talking about Davis's opinion on the Wheel of Time series. So sit back, relax, I don't know anything. Welcome to the Normal Nerds Podcast. All right, Davis.
Yo!
Wheel of Time series.
Yes.
We've mentioned this a few times on the podcast. I have not read the series in any sense of the word. Like, literally not even a single
It's a dedication.
page.
It's a dedication.
Yeah,
It's like
not a
12
single
books.
page. But there's times, we talk about fantasy books. I'm finally getting back into Mistborn.
Yes!
I'm 10
for
hours
the
left.
10th time.
10 hours left on Well of Ascension. And very glad there's only 10 hours left of that book. That book is just not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
The
ending will make it good, but right now it's not good.
There's a lot of worse books out there. It's
No,
still
I'm not-
a good book.
I'm not saying-
I think it's still a good book. I've read bad books.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's just like, I wouldn't read this book. If I got halfway through this book, I'd stop reading it if I didn't know a Saint Lanch existed.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's probably
Like, I know
fair.
a Saint Lanch is coming, and I know
Yes.
it's going to be good, and I know that new book's going to be crazy, and Hero Age just sounds fun.
Yes.
But right now, literally from like 10 hours of the book, nothing has happened.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much, yeah.
It's just them like, meh,
Yes.
meh, and Vin
Yeah,
just
it's
being
a
like,
political intrigue book.
And then Vin just being like, oh, Zane, oh,
Yes,
oh.
yeah. If that book started out the Mistborn saga, I probably wouldn't have read it. One of those things.
But,
It's not a bad book. It's a lot really slow.
so we, fantasy books, this and that. And then I've seen a lot of podcasts and book rankings. I'm going to look it up while Davis starts. The whole concept of today's episode is Davis reads a crap ton of books.
Yeah.
Too bad we have to use his phone to record the video because I'd love to see his Audible account. Well, I don't even know how many.
I probably got like 200 titles in there. The
200
Warhammer books are really starting to pad it out.
He's reading Warhammer books. That's when you know you're running out of books. Like,
That's not untrue.
yeah. You
That's
should read
not
the
untrue.
D&D books, though. I hear they're really good.
They're not on Audible, so I had to go hunt
Ew.
for them. I know. I already went down this avenue. I tried
Ew.
looking for them. They weren't on Audible. So I don't know. Maybe they're on Spotify.
When you're reading the Warhammer books, that's when you know you're just running out of fantasy books and you're a nerd. Even though there's a million fantasy books out there. But I see on a lot of podcasts all the time, and I see a lot of book nerds talk about how great Wheel of Time is. Like, how amazing Wheel of Time is. And I remember when you were reading it, you weren't like gushing over it as much. You like liked certain parts and everything. But when you got to like the later end of the books, you just like never talked about it.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this podcast, and it might go over horribly well. Horribly well.
It went over horribly unwell.
Well.
Then it would be.
It might go
gone
bad
'cause it
for
was horrible.
Davis. It might go bad
Maybe
for
it's horribly
Davis.
unwell. Yeah, maybe I don't know.
I'll start the podcast saying I've never read Wheel of Time. So if you're a
Yeah.
big Wheel of Time stan and you love these series, and Davis is not going to, I don't think he's going to crap on it.
No,
but
it's
whatever,
a good series.
but he's going to talk about it, and I'm going to pull up a few stats about the books and throw some questions on it, all this kind of stuff. But pretty much this podcast being majority of Davis talking, and we have these every once in a while. Like if it's a Zelda thing, I usually talk more. Yeah, so just once again, I am not saying it's not a great series to all you Wheel of Time
Okay,
stands.
yeah. All right,
This
fair
TV show sucks.
Oh, it's horrendous. I made it to halfway through the second season. I can't finish
All
it.
right,
It's so bad.
So let's start out. Let's just we'll jump into your rating of the book series. Got to think about that. The whole book series as a whole, I think there's like 18 books?
We're jumping to 18. There's 12.
12.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of books. I'm pretty sure I took a break in the section where
That's when you know it's a lot. You take a break.
I took a break in the section where it was. There's one of my friends actually. He started reading it. I didn't even know it was called this, but it makes total sense. There's this section that's called like the Slog or something like that, and it's like because the books are boring and like
Really?
not lots go. Like yeah, it's like you're just waiting for the climax in the end, but like it's like
What books?
it's
numbers.
like it's the. I want to say it's like 5, 6, 7 maybe, or somewhere. It's somewhere in the later half. It's after. It's definitely after book 4. Definitely after book 5 because that is Dumais Wells, I believe. But after that, like yeah, there's it's just winter for so long, and like the winter books I remember were the ones that people like they didn't like. They're slow and hard to get through. Like Rand does stuff and all this jazz, but it's like it's a slog. And then you get past it and it's all good again. But whatever. The series as a whole, I mean like.
All right, give me your top 3 favorite things about the series.
Top 3 favorite things about the series. I love the magic system. The magic system in the Wheel of Time is great. I've never seen such an abstract magic system make so much sense and just like be really interesting. Took him like, I swear to God, it took the guy like 4 or 5 books, Robert Jordan, 4 or 5 books to actually really hammer out what the magic system was. Oh, that's true, yeah. Hammer out what the magic system was and how it all worked. Because like the first book, you have no idea what the magic's doing. It's all kind of just abstract. Like it's whatever. It's the first book. And the second book, you're like, okay, how's this working exactly? And the third book, it's like, okay, Rand's still kind of crazy, so we don't really know what's going on with him. And then by the fourth book, I think that's when he really starts like hammering out what the magic system is going to be like and how you're going to create weaves and how it's going to make sense, especially with the male half the power. So that's the one thing I really like. I'm a big fan of how it has the whole idea of like, because a lot of modern age fantasy books are starting to toe that line, but it has the idea of like there's men and there's women and they each have their own special roles and they're both stupid and smart in their own ways. Okay. I really like that. Like, I mean, obviously there's exception characters in there and all that stuff, but this is one of those ones where it was like, it said because the one power, there's 2 halves to it, a male and a female part.
The pools, right, or something? Is that part of it?
The pools?
Nope, that's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
No, okay.
No.
That's not that book. There's other fantasy books
where
there's like
something.
Pools that people go grab, and then the evil ones touch the pool and ruin the pools or whatever.
That sounds like it's a thing. This is not, and that's not unakin to what this is.
I was saying it's probably in a fantasy book somewhere.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, it probably is.
That you probably mentioned at one point.
Yeah. And then I think there's a lot of characters I do like. I really liked Rand. I really liked Perrin a lot, and Matt. The trio is great. The three trio. I call them a trio. They're barely together in the books, but the trio is spectacular. Right. And that was another good thing that he wrote is that like you have there's a bunch of characters. It's not just a trio. It's actually like 7 or 8 people. But the 3 characters I like the most are the 3 guys, Rand, Perrin, and Matt. And they each go off and do their own great little stories throughout the series, and it's fantastic. I love the way they develop them. They all worked out great, and it was fantastic. So they did really great character development. Nynaeve took so goddamn long to get good, though. She was such an annoying character. You remember from the show, she's bitching all the time and all this stuff, and you didn't know what her power was and all that jazz.
And she might be a dragonborn or whatever they are.
A what?
What are the special thing that someone turns into? Remember, there was out of the 3 guys, they were going to turn into like the dragon thing or.
Oh, the Dragon Reborn.
And then
that's just in the show.
I know, in the book she's not in it, but in the show they're like, you're in it too.
Yeah, that show was a catastrophe. That was so stupid. I hated that show. No, it was just supposed to be the 3 guys because Dragon Reborn's a dude. Like it's the reincarnation of a dude. That's how it works in this. That's what I like. Like you get reincarnated as a dude.
Right. So now, give me your top 3 least favorite things about this series.
Polygamy. Fuck that shit. That's so stupid. The moment he put that in the book, because it's my thing I hate the most.
Wait, what do you mean?
Rand has 3 girlfriends in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's 3 of the main characters too. And it's not the main characters.
I was like, wait.
No, it's not
Matt
his.
And Perrin or whatever.
No.
His girlfriends?
It's whatever. It's not a Gwaine. They sort of are a thing in the beginning, and they get rid of that really well. Oh God, who is it? It's
also
Elaine.
Alerts.
It's there's 2 more. I can't remember their names. Min and what was the freaking girl from the desert? I don't remember.
Girl from Desert.
She's part of a people. Anyways.
Yasmin.
No. So it's this long whole thing where I thought like, oh, he's gonna have to, it's gonna be this great little love rectangle where Rand's gonna have to choose who he likes the most. Nope, he just picks them all in the end, and they're all okay with it, and it's really weird. I don't like it.
No wonder
I don't like it at all.
Sanderson took over for this. These goddamn Mormons out here.
Yeah, it's really weird. I hated it. I hated it the entire time. It's like, why is the thing? At one point they do this like. It's called bonding. It's a whole long thing. But anyways, where when you do that, you can like feel what the other person's feeling, and they all make sort of some weird like bond rectangle. So they feel when he's having sex with an individual one of them. It's really weird.
Oh, there's sex in the book?
Oh, tons.
Why?
Yeah, because I don't know.
Henry Cavill, guys, the king of the nerds.
It's not like super explicit sex like Game of Thrones.
Said get rid of it.
Yeah, it's not a bad. I'd be good.
Back down on it. Yeah. Well, okay. So, is that your number 3 or is that your number 1?
That's my number 1.
That's your number 1 reason to hate the
that
book?
grosses me the fuck out, dude. I hate polygamy. I'll never approve of it. It's weird.
No, it's absolutely right. I completely agree. But it's just I thought
it is the thing.
I thought you'd be like, well, the story got a little. You're like,
the story overall isn't bad.
Okay. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is probably the slog in the center of the book series. It was just. I don't know. Stuff happened. Stuff was great, but it was a chore to get through at points. And I just like Winter's Heart or something like that. Just when they're in the snow the entire time. There's a book where Rand is like, isn't in it till the end, and like Rand is kind of the main storyline in my opinion. He's the Dragon Reborn, and when you don't show him for an entire book, I feel like I kind of wasted my time reading this book because nothing happened. Like it was just Perrin doing Perrin stuff, I think.
Yeah, it's like in like Way of Kings, like when Kaladin's not in the book for like a really long time.
Yeah.
You're like, I know Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar are like the main characters, but like Kaladin's the main character.
And like, that's even, but like even that's less egregious because Rand is the main character. Like I don't care if people say like there are everyone else. I love everyone. Most characters in the book. They're all side characters.
Isn't he the Dragon Reborn?
He is the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
It's his fucking story. He's the whole. This whole thing doesn't happen without him. He's the main character. His insanity is supposed to be a focus for so many parts of the books.
He's insane.
So
well, that makes sense. The polygamy.
Yeah. No. When he gets sane, he keeps polygamy. Polygamy never goes away.
Man, what's it?
And the girls who can touch the power, they're totally down with it too, and they're not crazy.
That worries me about Robert Jordan, like what he was thinking, because like, I think like so like, not saying Brandon Sanderson did this. Kelsier is such a character that you're like a nerd would write wanting to be them.
Oh yeah,
like they're like, this is the person I wish I could be.
He's a D&D character.
Yeah, he's the person I wish he could be, and I honestly think Sanderson wrote Kelsier as like. Because Kaladin is so much like Kelsier.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
They're very similar. Like they're just like I know Kelsier is jovial and fun, but they're both like they can run a room. They just have a natural charisma about them. They both like care about all the little people. They're like Kaladin is Kelsier's like lamer younger brother.
Yes, agreed.
And I'm just like, do you write these two like you know? Like,
maybe it's possible. It's possible. And like the running joke that they're like the same thing.
So I feel like
sad.
Sometimes authors like put in things that they think is like, you know, why would an author put in polygamy? Like, you don't need that. It doesn't add to the fantasy world. You know, that's one thing I think Sanderson does well. He doesn't throw in things that don't add to the fantasy world.
Yeah, facts. Yeah,
like that does not add to a fantasy storyline.
No, it didn't.
So why would you throw it in?
And like it's really weird because like the Dragon Reborn, they always talk about the. Luz Therin Telemon, the Dragon Reborn, but like the last Dragon Reborn that broke the world and all that stuff. He only had one wife, so like this isn't a reincarnation polygamy thing. He only had the one, so it was like, why is this here? Why is this even here?
So what's your third least favorite thing?
Third least favorite thing. That's a really good question. Probably I would say. It's a big book series, so it takes a lot of time to get character development done and all this stuff, and I'm fine with that. There are parts of the book that I think just took too long to get done, but I would say that what really got me was that sometimes the characters and who they are confusing as hell, and I need like a freaking whiteboard to just draw out who they are now, because there are characters that die and then get dragged back to life. But they don't keep their same name or their same face, and half the time you don't know who they are. I've watched multiple videos trying to figure out who the Reborn Forsaken are, and like who's this character and who's that. It's a lot of like, and probably for the super nerds out there, I'm sure you friggin' highlighted and mapped the entire book, and it makes total sense to you because you don't have a life. But there was a lot of points in that book series where I was like, what the hell? Who is this character? What am I supposed to know this storyline right now? What is going on? Yeah. There were a few times where that happened, and I'm just like, okay, interesting. So that's not such a super egregious thing because I guess the roadmap is there and all this stuff. But I just don't. Yeah, it was just so confusing to read it half the time. So I don't know. That's a smaller complaint, but. Honestly, I love a long book series, but probably the length of it too. Like
it's pretty long. And then when Sanderson took over, I noticed you read the books longer.
Yes, he did. Of course he did. Yeah. Why wouldn't Sanderson?
Classic
do that? Why wouldn't he do that? I think there's a lot. I think the books came together really well after the Lord of Chaos, which is the fourth book, I believe. But kind of before that, it was just the first three books are kind of just chaos. Like. I read them and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? There's a point where I was reading those books and I was like, I'm just reading this because I have nothing else right now. And then I got to the Lord of Chaos and I was like, all right, I like this book series. This is actually kind of good. Let's go. And then it goes in the slug, and then it's just a whole mess. But
I will say, it was one of the few like books you read that you weren't like, you got to read this. Like you never.
Yeah,
like,
I would never.
You never said that once.
I wouldn't really. My friend Roland read it, and I was like really jazzed when he read it, but I like also knew it's like this is gonna be a commitment and whole
Did
thing
you
for
like
him. I don't think he did. I think he had a lot of the same opinions that I did, but like there was a lot of time like when he got to the slog, I think he really hated it.
Interesting facts. I'm just gonna pull up some things real quick, just because I thought it was fun. So on Goodreads, it's got a 4.59
out of 5.
out of 5.
I don't know. That's tough.
Surprisingly, which I love this. I'm averaging the scores right now, but Dungeon Crawler Carl is rocking like a 4.6.
Let's
Something-
go!
That's awesome.
Let's go, Dungeon Crawler Carl!
Stormlight Archive series is rocking like a 4.7 almost.
Wheel of Time is ranked above the Stormlight Archive?
No, it's below it.
Oh, okay, good.
But they're all ranked above the 4.53 Lord of the Rings series.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that in several instances there, but I definitely don't agree with it for Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is not a better book series than Lord of the Rings. Not just because it's like Lord of the Rings is the GOAT. Lord of the Rings story at least freaking makes sense half the time. Like and just like it's concise and it doesn't have all this weird shit in it. There's a lot of times in this book I didn't understand the relationships either. I didn't know like God, there was this one where it was talking about I didn't even like catch it too, but I was bitching about it in the show how they made what was her name? Moraine and what's her Szechuan I can't remember her name. Swan Sanche.
Oh, they were like lesbians.
Yeah, they made her lesbians, and I guess technically that was in the book series because like apparently
not really. We looked it up. It was like not really.
The way
it's suggested.
It's suggested. They calls them like bed or pillow friends, and I guess when I was reading it, I didn't interpret that as because the way he put it, the way he writes it, it's like like when you put all these girls in one place, they're just gonna become lesbians. It's like. What? That didn't make any sense. I didn't interpret it that way, but I guess he pointed out that it's very possible that it was a thing.
I mean,
I don't
dead,
know.
So we can't really see like what
but when he was alive, he pointed it out. I did a deep dive on it. I was like,
okay.
what the hell? I did not interpret it that way. There's a lot of like sexual relationships that I didn't even catch because I was just like, he was too subtle about them or they just didn't make sense to me.
And you're just a pure good boy.
I am just a good boy.
Just a good boy.
But it's the way it was written too. Just like I don't know.
That's actually like one thing I will always, and I guess Lord of the Rings really doesn't have sex either. J.R.R. Tolkien was definitely not putting that.
Good Christianity.
Yeah. C.S. Lewis definitely wasn't either doing
Clean
that.
Christianity.
And that's one thing I actually am a fan of. Brandon Sanderson too. Stormlight Archives really great. There is times I'm like, man, reading 12 etc. I'm like, dude, you don't understand women.
No.
Because you're a dork.
Yeah.
And I think Stormlight came out after he actually met his wife probably.
Yeah,
Anyways,
probably.
But
Put it all together.
Okay. Can you remember your favorite book of the series?
Favorite book of the series?
And then we're gonna talk favorite book, least favorite book, and then I really want to talk about something else, but save
Okay.
it.
All right.
Just give me your favorite book.
My favorite.
I can pull them all up if you want.
Yeah, pull them all up.
Let's read all 12 titles.
Let's go. Let's see. Let's see if I can get them. That's The Eye of the World.
Oh, I don't even have them up yet. Jeez. Give me a second, dude.
Okay. All right. I'm taking the time.
I
know the first one.
This isn't in order. Okay, but go on.
Okay. Technically, if you're reading it's supposed to be chronological order. It's like New Spring or something like that. First Spring.
Oh, is that like how it's
That's a prequel book.
Oh, okay. Okay, yep.
Okay, so is it New Spring or what is it called?
New Spring.
New Spring, okay. And then there's The Eye of the World.
Yep.
And then there's The Hunt for the Horn.
Ooh, that's terrible. There's a horn on the cover, but it's called The Great Hunt.
So that is the hunt. It's the Hunt for the Horn, but it's called The Great Hunt. Good. All right, fair enough. Then there is... Hang on a second. I know it. I do know it. Is that one that's called The Dragon Reborn?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then it's The Lord of Chaos.
This has The Shadow Rising. Yeah, you skipped 2 books.
I skipped 2 books?
Yeah.
Man,
The Shadow Rising is the next one.
Yeah, the series took longer than I thought. Okay, so no. Okay, so maybe. Okay. So Shadow Rising, that's the book I like. That's when he goes into the desert. And then book 5, Crown of Swords.
No.
That's a Game of Thrones book, I think. Or is that on there?
It's on it.
All right, I give up. I'm done.
Okay.
I got the first book and the prequel.
No, you did pretty good actually, because the next book was The Fires of Heaven.
Oh, Fires of Heaven.
Then you would have
Let's
Lord of
do mine.
Chaos. Then A Crown of Swords.
Oh, okay.
Can you get the next one? Come on. You did pretty nice.
Winter's Heart or something like that.
That's the one after this one.
Then I don't know what's next.
Yeah, you do. Come on.
No, I don't.
The Path of Daggers.
Okay.
Okay, Winter's Heart. Then this one's got a cool ass cover.
I don't know.
A Crossroads of
Fate?
Twilight.
Oh, I don't remember.
Knife of
Dreams?
Yep. Go on. The last ones. Come on.
So how many do I have left to go? What book am I on right now?
There's 3 left.
Three left?
There's 2 left.
There's 2 left.
Let me just.
I don't remember. The last one's called Memory of Light. The one before that's called The Gathering Storm, and I have no idea what the one before that's called.
Well, there's Memory of Light. Then there's a book in between.
There's a book in between?
And then The Gathering Storm. It's The Towers of Midnight.
What the fuck happened in Towers of Midnight? I think that was another. I think he went on and talked to everyone. I think that's one of the books that he went and saw everyone else but Rand again.
Okay.
Okay.
But do you have a favorite out of those?
Out of those ones,
Sounds like The Shadow Rising.
The Shadow Rising is probably my favorite. I liked when he went in the desert. It was really cool. When he had to go talk to what was that tribe's name? I can never remember. The Aiel. The Aiel.
I mean, you forgot the name of the book. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
Or The Dragon Reborn. That sounds cool.
That book was weird.
Okay, never mind.
That book was a good startup.
What's your favorite? One?
Probably The Shadow Rising.
What's your least favorite?
The
Path of Daggers.
Probably
Crossroads of Twilight. I don't know. That cover looks cool as hell.
Yeah, probably. I mean, as much as the slug is boring as hell, but honestly, probably The Eye of the World. That book was just, I didn't know what the first book, I didn't know what the fuck was going on the entire time. And I still barely, because like when that happened, when the climax of that book happened, I was still like, the hell? What happened just now? Like, that's nothing I didn't like. Early on, I think he had a hard time, like, just trying to, like,
just putting the story together.
Yeah, like, not even that, just, like, depicting what was going on. Like, in that first one, when, like, Rand unlocks his Dragon Reborn powers, when he gets his power up, because he needed to save his friends.
As per usual.
He just starts, like, teleporting all over the place and doing all this weird shit. He doesn't know how to do that again after this, which I understand if you're just instinctually using the power, but, like, it just, the way he was describing, like, I didn't know what was going on. It was like, okay, now he's killing him with the Troggs. So how'd he get there? What's going on? Now he's climbing a bunch of stairs to this place. Is he in Dream World? Is he not? I don't know what's going on here. He's fighting some fire demon? I don't know.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so
one thing I do see that people love about the series, I've seen on multiple podcasts, is that they say it has the most epic battle in all the fantasy books. Because it's like, it's literally, isn't it like
Memory of Light is pretty much
like
just an entire fight.
Yeah, it's like
it's more or less
super long.
There's a lot of fighting in Memory
and
of Light.
you love fighting, but you didn't really love this, and I'm really interested because you love the fights. And if you listen to the podcast, you know Davis loves the fights. I mean, you like that one book series. That's pretty much just an anime. It's pretty much an anime fight.
Cradle rules.
Yeah,
Cradle's awesome. The problem with Memory of Light
is that the one with the big battle.
Yes, that's where it's like we're finally, because like I will give Robert Jordan credit this, like all the prophecies he talks about for the entire books, for all the books before this, all the prophecy he talks about of the final battle is coming and all this stuff. Cool. It does happen. It does come, and it is epic. So his payout was really good. But I will say,
real quick, what's a better battle? That battle or the Battle of Pelennor Fields? It's in the Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
Probably. I mean,
was the defense of the city of Anast?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What battle was better?
I mean, this one had more magic. I don't know. I want to say Lord of the Rings, but because it was probably more concise. But the problem I have with this battle is that it's half the book.
Yeah.
And there's so much shit going on, but it takes so long to get it all done. Like, it's literally, it's interesting because it's actually written like if you were on a battlefield, like this is how it would be. It's like in a magic battlefield, like some sides would win, some sides would lose, things would happen, blah, 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 blah. The battle is epic. It's awesome. A lot of stuff comes to fruition and all this jazz, but there were points in there where I was just like, okay, speed it up. Get moving, get it done. There were several times where that happened. And when it finally concludes, it's sick. It's awesome. It's a great ending. It's a great ending. Rand's battle with the Dark One was sick. I loved it. The way they won in the end was just so smart. But that was just that took so long. It took so long to finish. So that might be why I see it's not as epic. Yeah, that's probably it.
It's not like Oathbringer, where like I think like I don't know how many I don't know how many pages is the last battle of the book, but the last battle of the book.
This is longer.
I know it's longer. I know, but the Oathbringer's like battle is wicked long.
Yes,
but it's like crazy long. I remember listening to it. It's like lasts like 7 hours of the book or something. It's a crazy.
When finally after. Oh, I guess when they get there.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking long, but it's like it is very like it's a classic like anime kind of style battle where it's like. It's just like, oh, then the bad guys did this, but the good guys did this, and it's just like it's very like because then it introduces like the characters coming through, and then like a big moment happens and stuff like that. I could see it was like big moment happens, and then like the battle continues.
Pretty much, yeah. And then one character would have a huge moment, and then we wouldn't see them for a little bit, and then come back, they have another huge moment, and they go away, and then come back and have another huge moment. And just like at one point, do we stop having huge moments and just win or lose?
What would you rank the battle?
Battle itself, I mean, I'd tell you it's a solid 7.5 fight.
Oh, okay, that's still good.
It just
that's
like
still
my biggest complaint
good.
is it's fucking slow. It's a slow fight.
Okay,
but like overall, like the shit that happens is really cool. The magic that gets cast is really cool. The characters that die, it's really sad that they die. But like, I you know me, I like death in things. Like I think it progresses the story.
Yes.
So that was really. That was excellent. That part of the fight was great. But yeah, the fight takes so goddamn long. And there's like there's so many moving parts to it. And I'm just like, okay, at some point I'm just like, it's very beautiful and all that stuff, but wrap it up. You know?
That was Sanderson, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sanderson. The way Sanderson put it is that the most Memory of Light was mostly complete already.
Were like most of the books like mostly complete though?
Pretty much. He only came in for like the last 3.
Yeah.
But he pretty much said like there was a solid framework for all that. He just filled in the gaps.
And he's like, I'm gonna make it long.
Yeah.
I don't think Sanderson can make a short book.
No, I think it's physically impossible for him to do it.
Like his shortest books like are like honestly like minus like Dawn Shard and stuff like that. But like his like core books are always like 20 plus hours audio.
There's one more thing that really pissed me off too. I found this out later that Sanderson talked about because apparently I don't know if Jordan wrote this or Sanderson wrote this. In the book, there's this one ongoing Forsaken. Her name's Lanfear. She sucks. She's a bitch. I hate her. But she's super smart. That's her whole thing. Like she's like always conniving. You pretty much can't outthink her essentially.
Oh, she's
it's
like
one of those.
Okay.
Pretty much, she's one of those characters. Which her death in the book series I really liked because she gets killed by like Perrin, who's just a brute, doesn't think that hard. But apparently,
cool. I like that.
Apparently, according to Sanderson, and said he thought he made it very clear that was all a lie. She just tricked Perrin into pretend killing her, and she's still alive in the world right now, which is
Doing
dumb.
what?
Just being evil. It's dumb because the whole idea.
I probably bet that was a big moment.
It was a huge moment. I thought she was dead. It's like, yeah, let's go. Because like at that point, the rap like
that's kind of cool storyline too. Is like the guy who's like doesn't think
exactly. That's why I liked it so much. But no, his argument was like, oh, big dumb Baron couldn't beat up this stupid fucking genius character.
I feel like that makes sense.
I know it did. It was great.
Times you see that in shows where it's like the super smart person's like, we've had to see shows where it happened before where it's just like the person's like, I like this person around because I can never predict what they're gonna do because they're so dumb. What that's in something. It's in a show. It's in an anime. It's in a specific anime, and I can remember he likes the guy because he's so dumb and he can't predict what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And that's why he's friends with him. He makes no sense to him.
Yeah.
So I like that idea.
Yeah,
it's like
it was
someone's
smart.
like,
I enjoyed it.
I'm so cutting, but like that person's so dumb. I can't like they wouldn't do the smart thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They wouldn't outthink her. I think he literally snaps her neck. Or something
that's even
like
cooler.
Yeah, or some shit like that. Yeah, he does something in the World of Dreams. But like
murder is bad.
It is super bad, yeah. But she's a mega healer, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Murder is good in that sense.
First, and what was really good about it is, like, in the last book, you know, you're battling the Forsaken the entire time. You're battling the Dark One's little minions the entire time and all that, throughout the entire book series. And in this...
she's a Forsaken.
She's a Forsaken. Her name's Lanfear.
Okay. What's her name?
Lanfear.
That's a cool name.
It's a good name, yeah. I liked it a lot.
Is it spelled like Lanfear?
I have no idea. I hope
it's spelled different than actual Land fear.
Yeah, sure. But in it, you know... You're battling the entire time. The whole big story about the Wheel of Time is that fate's always there. It's always gonna be fate. It's gonna be fate, and history will repeat itself. The pattern will like reweave these people out into the world and all that stuff. So in the final part of the book, you're in that last bit, like all the Forsaken are like, by the end, they're all dead or beaten in some way where they're never gonna be a threat again, and they'll die and they'll have to do all this stuff. And that's why, and like they're pretty much wrapping it up as the pattern would like. And if it's true that she survived, then she's pretty much just an immortal witch with godly powers out there in the world doing stuff, just fucking up the pattern, which is like, how does that make any sense? Why does this one Forsaken get to live out of all this? When like the whole idea was that the righteous hammer of the light were gonna come down and pound them to dust.
Yeah, sometimes
which
nerds,
is like,
you probably thought she was super hot, so you wanted to get rid of her.
she is canonically hot in the books, yeah.
That's
Even her new body.
I was just looking at trying to find it. It's Lanfear, yeah, not
Lanfear.
Landfear.
Oh, sorry,
you didn't
Lanfear.
say Lanfear.
Oh,
You
okay.
said Land, but I was like worrying it might have been Land. Yeah, she was in the second season apparently.
She's in the first. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was just gonna sound so mean to the actress. She's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just noticed in a lot of fantasy series, like especially Witcher. It's just like, why are we not getting like the hottest women to play these fantasy characters? Like I know, like, I mean, we got you guys, like, girls got Henry Cavill as like Geralt.
Yeah.
Like, you got super hot.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, just girls. I mean, we got it too.
I mean, we got it too.
We got it too.
Yeah, we love Henry.
He's the best Geralt out there.
We love Henry Cavill.
Yeah, he's
but
awesome.
like, remember Triss? Like,
yeah. She's good, but not as good. The game was hotter, so.
way hotter.
Yeah.
And they exist.
They do. There's a thing. There are the people out there.
But all right.
That
sounds
annoyed me.
stupid.
It really. When I saw
sounds
his interview about that, I was like, well, this is dumb. This is a dumb thing you did.
Yeah,
I didn't like this. I just like, obviously he's a genius. He writes amazing books, and I will always cherish his work. I disagree with him on this.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a writer.
I'm going to segue that into something I didn't want to make a whole podcast about this, because I just want to talk about it. Is the Stormlight archives are amazing, obviously. They're incredible. Easily 9 point whatever. Most of them. Way Kings maybe like 8.7.
Yeah.
But after that, 9s.
Yeah.
But the Stormlight fans are getting kind of uppity here.
Are they?
I'm seeing a lot of things on the internet how they're like, when they're like, it's better than Lord of the Rings.
That's a lie.
And I have not read Lord of the Rings, but I was watching this guy comparing the writing that J.R.R. Tolkien does to the writing that Sanderson does, and I was like, dang, Lord of the Rings is beautiful.
Yes.
Like,
it's one of the greatest pieces of art ever made.
And I hate the thing. What I hate though is they're like, oh my god, but J.R.R. Tolkien describes such details. You always have to hear about the trees. Right. Such details about the trees. It's so boring. Like for like 3 pages. Like ugh. And I'm always like, Oathbringer is longer than the Lord of the Rings series.
Yes.
So Sanderson goes on for a while on a lot of things.
Yes.
Like,
There's a lot of descriptions.
Well, it's
things.
not crapping on Sanderson, but like Stormlight fans, like, stop.
Here's my one big argument to that is that in 50 years, people are not going to compare the next big fantasy series to the Stormlight Archive.
Right,
They're going to keep comparing it to Lord of the Rings not because it's just famous. It's because it is one of, if not the greatest fantasy piece of all time.
Yeah,
I'd say it is the greatest fantasy piece.
It's modern fantasy.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, yeah. As opposed to.
There's like, well, I mean, there's like older. It's better than older fantasy,
Yeah,
but
it is,
it's just, I just like to say modern fantasy because that's technically what it's like.
Fair enough. But regardless, people aren't going to do that. So.
And I know, like, we've had this conversation before, and I hate that like people can't accept this. People will be like, oh, why? Because they like did it first. And it's like, yeah, it's like when greatness is when the bar is set, and like it's set.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not J.R.R. Tolkien's fault. He set it so high.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not even, and it's also not even the fact that he just did it first. Like, we talk about an anime with the Naruto trio. Like, Naruto did it first, but there are better versions of the trio, and we call it. Yeah. They created the formula, but people perfected it. Tolkien made the formula, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, every segment was great. I don't
like,
understand how people
it's
just
just
can't figure that out.
inspiration gets pulled off of it and stuff like that, and it's like,
I swear to God, D&D is based on it.
it is.
Yeah,
it actually is.
Okay.
Yeah, like
nice.
No, it actually is. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I don't know, the Stormlight fans, like, it's great how big Stormlight is and everything, and like definitely probably like my third favorite like fantasy series if I read Lord of the Rings. I love Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm sorry, it's just so amazing. I just can't get enough of that. It's too fun. It's too fun.
It's a good time.
It's too fun. I mean, it's not as well written as Stormlight, but it's too fun.
It's a good time.
Once I finished the last book, I was like, this is too fun. I can't. I'm waiting for Stormlight. I can't wait for the next book. I cannot wait for Dungeon Crawler.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah,
like,
it's too fun.
It's so exciting.
Like the only thing that's like, and right now reading Well of Ascension, like that's whatever. I do not consider that part of the Stormlight. Like it's part of Cosmere, but it's like I don't consider it as part. But I just know when the next book comes out, I'll be super pumped for Stormlight. But I know I'm gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be like 60 hours.
I know.
Like that's great. Give me all the content in the world. I want it.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be times where there's gonna be times in the books where like Shazlan's crying or something.
Yeah.
Where Sed's like, what does he say he is?
Son.
No, what's he say about himself? He's like, I am truthless. Or...
Oh, he's not truthless anymore, though.
Yeah, whatever. Sev's like one of my least favorite characters.
Oh, really? Oh,
I don't...
Get ready for this book.
I love Nightblood.
Yeah.
He's amazing. But Sev's uncool Kaladin.
This is true.
He's just a depressed...
True.
He's like, I'm awful. And it's like, yeah, dude, you are.
Yeah. There's another character I'm like, you could have stayed dead.
Who?
Sev.
Oh, Sev, yeah.
I really liked how he went out, and I was like, oh...
Yeah. If you went out of Words of Radiance, that would have been great. Yeah,
you land veered him. He
really did. Nail just came and was like, "Now you live."
Yeah, that was it.
Which that's kind of weird. Never really explained that one.
I thought he had like a Fabrial that did it.
I don't know. I don't like Sev. I love his sword, and that's the only thing that made Sev to me like I actually like seeing Sev now because of Nightblade.
Yeah,
Nightblood. But like. There's just like there was times in like the earlier books where he's just like, I am truthless, and I was like,
see, that didn't bug me as much, but yeah, it was the constant like I hate killing people. I'm gonna keep doing it though, and feel guilty about it
because of a rock.
Yeah, because of a rock. Yeah, facts. Yeah. So I
liked a lot of things that was happening around Sev.
Yeah.
But every time it got to his inner monologue, I was like. Because when Kaladin's like depressed, you're like, yeah, but you pick it up, bud.
Yeah.
When Sev's depressed, you're like, shut up.
Just jump off of your roof. Just do it. Just do it already.
But yeah, so I just want to get that out there. Stormlight is absolutely. Where would you put it in your book series?
What are we talking about right now? Stormlight or
no? You give me
Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time's not in your top 5, right?
No.
So give me your top 5 fantasy if you can.
We already did this. But,
we did not do it on the podcast. We did outside.
Oh, did we? Did we? Oh my god.
We were just talking fantasy.
Oh, shit,
There's a lot of things we talk. You think we have a podcast where we talk about like all the nerdy stuff that we'd run out of content in our own lives? No, there's a lot.
No, we still keep going. Yeah.
We'll probably talk about this after the podcast.
Facts. Yeah.
There are times where we finish our podcast and then just continue.
That was great. What about this thing? This thing. Like, oh, why did we say that on the podcast?
Can you give a top 5 or can you give you a top 3?
I can. I mean. Without thinking about it too hard, this could be subject to change in the future. But right now, number 1's Lord of the Rings. Number 2, still probably the Stormlight Archive.
Would you say Cosmere or Stormlight? Are you going to separate those ones? I think you should separate it.
I'm going to separate it because I'm not putting Mistborn there. I'm not putting Mistborn in my top.
Or what
7?
about Wax and Wayne? They're kind of cool.
I'm not putting. I'd have to think real hard about that. They're good. It's really good and all that stuff. I consider it part of the Mistborn series as a whole, so I can't.
That's
put
fair.
It there, because it is.
That's fair.
So probably Stormlight Archive. 3, we're gonna say. Honestly, I know I probably said it outside that it was Dungeon Carl, but I think number 3 is Cradle, then number 4 is Dungeon Carl now.
Nice.
Number 5, Warhammer. No, it's
Warhammer sounds cool.
It's Warhammer's a lot. That one's written. It's got a lot of different authors because there's 154 books before I get to the Siege of Terra.
Is there like a fantasy comedy author you like?
A fantasy comedy author.
Who's that comedy author you like?
Oh, Yahtzee Croshaw?
That's
He's
really
good.
Well, it doesn't have to be fantasy.
He does have some fantasy.
I did say top 5 fantasy.
You did say top 5 fantasy, yeah. So he does do some fantasy, but
number 5 though?
Number 5, I'm just trying to think it out, man. What else do I read that's really good? What else did I crush early on in my reading? Because I got through all the big stuff.
What about that one series before Stormlight that you were reading?
First one I was reading.
It's like Swamps. No.
Swamps.
It's like 3 books. I don't know. I don't know the name of it.
And my phone's over there, so I can't think of it. I'm just trying to think.
Lockwood. No, that's not it.
Lockwood.
No, it's
Swamps.
I don't know what it was.
You got pools. You got swamps. You guys got water on the brain right now, man.
If you can't figure out a 5, that's fine.
Let's do a 4. If I get it before we cut the podcast, I'll let you know. But what are yours?
Fantasy book series?
Yeah.
Well, since I haven't read that many fantasy book series, number 1.
What do you got now?
If it's actually like my favorite of what I've read, that's tough because it's what I've actually read. So number 1, I'll go Stormlight right now because I think it's going to finish. I think when Stormlight ends, it's going to be absolutely incredible. Number 2 would be Dungeon Crawler Carl. Number 3 would be Harry Potter, which I thought would be your 5.
Oh, that's fair. I like Harry Potter, but
Harry Potter's amazing.
It is
amazing. It holds up. It holds up.
It really is amazing.
Like I read the first book again for the first time like 3 years ago, and I was like, "This book is amazing." Yeah. Like I was like, "Oh my god!"
When I'm finally lucky enough to have kids, I will. They'll get read to them.
Then I haven't read any others.
No, that really.
I don't read books. What Hey, maybe Aragon. Don't you like Aragon?
I do like Aragon a lot.
Did you read the new book?
I did read the new book. It was good. It was good. I'd probably put Aragon at 5, I guess.
What about Percy Jackson?
Nah.
Nope. Okay.
Nah, I'm too old now. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, those are really good books for children.
Mm-hmm.
I would not read those now. I'd read Harry
What
Potter
about
now.
The Hobbit?
That's Lord of the Rings. I mean,
Okay,
I don't it's the prequel to Lord of the Rings book series.
Okay.
I don't distinguish that
All
differently.
right. So final thing. You
Oh yeah, we have one more thing. Yeah.
You got to rate The Wheel of Time out of 10.
I mean, it's not a bad book series. It takes a long time to get through it. It's definitely a dedication if you want to do it. But if you got the time, say you work from home doing a job where you don't have to use your entire brain, I would say definitely use it. Definitely use that. It's a 7.
Ooh.
I want to say it's a 7. There's a lot of crap in that book that I would just put in the trash can. There's a lot of stuff I'd iron out ahead of time. And part of the problem with that is just like it's such a long book series, so I don't think he totally wrote out everything that was going to happen when he started it. Like, who does that? What maniac does that? Unless you're writing just a trilogy.
Yeah.
But the magic system is cool. It's one of my favorite magic systems in the world. I love it. And a lot of characters are great. Minus Nynaeve for about half the book series. And several of the women characters.
So 7?
7. 7. I think it's very fair. It's long. It's got problems. It's worth the read.
What
though.
would you give the TV series so far? I haven't watched season 2. Did you watch season 2?
I got halfway through season 2, and I'm like, I
don't know if we ever did a review of the first season. I don't remember.
Did we ever? I would have shredded it if we did.
Right. Well, you're gonna get it out of 10. We were running out of time.
It's like a 1. It sucks. It sucks. You know what? Fine. If I step away from being just a book reader because I hate it because it's so bad.
I will say like
bad.
I didn't like it.
It's a 1.5.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like I don't like the story.
Yeah. At first, I liked it.
Yeah.
Like the first few episodes, I was like, oh, pretty cool. Then the end of season 1, I've not watched season 2. The end of season 1, I was like, Bleh.
Yeah. I've seen some clips sort of later part of the season 2 as well. I'm just like, this is dumb. This makes no sense. There's a point where Matt blows the horn. He's like, so it's a very long story running out of time. But in the second book, yeah, if you blow the horn, this horn they're hunting for, it summons ghost heroes. And it's really cool. Of like the past.
So Elden Ring stole that? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then, but Matt blows it in the second season here, and then like he says like, oh, I was actually one of you the entire time. Like saying he was like one of the heroes, but like reborn now. It was so stupid. It was like, I read it and I was like, this is dumb. You just took this character and you just like took a sledgehammer to it and destroyed it.
That was also what's really confusing is like Brandon Sanderson likes that series.
No, he doesn't like it now.
Oh, he doesn't? Thank God.
No. I think he mentioned. I think he tried to say he liked it because he worked on it technically.
That's what I thought was weird because he said he was like because like the first season he was like kind of said he like kind of liked it, whatever. But he crapped all over Rings of Power, which was like actually good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but he said in the first season he worked on it, but worked on it light, as in like he was getting scripts after like the episodes were sort of already in production, so he couldn't fix them. I don't think he likes it now. I don't listen to his podcast.
Like it's way far off the book.
It's way off the book. It's not even remote. Like the story is completely wrong. Like I was just trying to watch it to see if it was a good fantasy series, and it was just wrong.
Yeah,
unilaterally.
I don't think anyone watches it. That's why I'm surprised it got a second season.
Me too. I didn't know it was getting one until I saw it came out.
A lot of money.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
When's Ring of Power is coming out?
That'd be cool. Yeah, soon. Hopefully.
Some people ought to hate that.
I don't know. Invincible's coming back soon though.
I don't know what that was.
That was a weird half. Like, look at my thumb. It's a half thumb. Woo.
But all right, well, for all the Wheel of Time fans out there, if you watch this video, let Davis know why he's wrong.
Okay.
If you are on Davis's side and you've always been scared to say it, because the community will let him know why he's right.
Yeah, I'll be your voice.
And if you just really like my Zelda t-shirt, say hi. Thank you, Normal Nerd Nation, for listening and maybe even watching another podcast episode. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, and Instagram. Davis is always posting hilarious memes on there.
Also, like and subscribe while you're at it, and leave a rating if you have some time. It helps people find the show.